Zeri because you can break the ultimate, and that's a champion where you could keep Huhi on a melee that can have engage options while still providing defensive value there to try and save the Zeri.
Gonna get the Kennen locked in the first half of the draft instead.
This is something I actually like you can do on blue side, because now this makes a difficult choice. You either go for your top lane pick right now and leave your support to the second half, or you take your support and then they're going to ban out some of the difficult matchups for Kennen on this next phase of bans. So it kind of poses a difficult question here potentially for FlyQuest.
I also love how Licorice was talking about he was a Shanji enjoyer after his Rumble pick, and you're not a true Shanji enjoyer until you also pick the Kennen, and he's going to have an aggressive look on the top side. Very, very excited to see him play it.
And on the opposite end of aggressive, Impact's playing Sion again. But that's okay, because Impact has demonstrated mastery on this champion many times over.
And the biggest thing when you're playing against the Kennen is to mark the Kennen on the flanks and not let the Kennen get the engage, because Wukong and Kennen together, Golden Guardians have a very powerful AoE engage here that you really are going to have to mark, especially the Kennen part of it, to keep him out.
And I mean, honestly, pretty early into the game, Sion just kind of stops caring about Kennen's damage, right? You can poke away and you can prod and you can harass him early on. But even with the second wind D-Shield, it's a difficult lane to really do much more than just get the push in. And once Sion starts getting some items under his belt, it becomes very difficult for Kennen. And in these situations you're talking about, Gobi, if Sion can actually force out an ulti from that Kennen in a 1v1 prior to the fight, Kennen becomes really useless.
And with the Kennen being the priority over picking a support for Golden Guardians, and then FlyQuest having to answer with their own top laner like you mentioned, supports, and more supports are being targeted in the second half of the draft. It's Renata Glass and Soraka banned out by FlyQuest, targeting those enchanters that Zeri loves to play with so much. Golden Guardians have caused a divorce in bot lane by getting rid of Rakan from being paired with the Xayah. Who else do they want to target here? Are we going to get something other than a support ban? Silas banned out. All right.
Makes sense. I mean, there's some pretty powerful ultimates to actually potentially steal here. Wukong all really good. Kennen all obviously really good.
Wow,
but it's going to be Heimer support here. So a very different look for the bot lane compared to the Braum from last time. So now they're going to be playing more for a winning 2v2 here with this. I do think Ashe could be a decent answer if they want to play for that 2v2 prio. But you are going to have, a very, very little front line here. Once again, it's going to be all about, just hard engaging in those initial picks, because fighting through the Sion will become incredibly difficult.
And the thing that I'm noticing that's different from game one here for Golden Guardians is they don't have a comp with champions like Elise or like Fiora that are naturally disadvantaged in a 5v5.
Yeah.
Even though they're not super tanky, they have a lot of, okay, everybody just go in, especially with Lissandra locked in too. Lissandra, Wukong, Kennen, all go in. They just destroy the team fight.
They want a full set every fight.
Absolutely. Oh, is this going to be the River Jarvan of Legend?
Support Jarvan, I think, actually. I think it could be support Jarvan here. You max the flag for Huhi.
Oh, wait, yeah, you're right.
A lot of options here.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, because Wukong's probably not going to be flexed to any solo lane or anything.
Yeah. Wukong top would be theoretically possible, but I mean, I wouldn't expect it. I do think Jarvan support makes the most sense. I'm trying to think through, like, could you play list support? It doesn't really make sense that it would work at all. So yeah, I do think you're right, Kobe. Likely to be Emax, Airy, Jarvan that we've seen in the past. You can rush into, back in the day, people actually just went straight Zonius, right? Because it was all about the engage and you weren't going to be tanky enough to survive either way. So it was about that poke and then just sending yourself in.
Man, I got so excited over River Jarvan. I was thinking back to the good old days. River's first survivors, just Jarvan every game. I got ahead of myself.
But that's just swapping back and forth over and over.
Yeah, just trying to confuse him a little bit, make him guess. But the final pick of the draft for FlyQuest will be Taliyah for Vicla. So wants to get out of that mid lane, affect these sides here a little bit, see if he can make some of those big angles that Taliyah has set up in games that we've seen so far here in Spring to really pull out some pretty impressive plays.
I've got to say, though, I like FlyQuest draft a lot more again, because it's very difficult. You're sending a full dive comp against Heimer's.
Game 2, FlyQuest up 1-0 over Golden Guardians in this best of 5 for a ticket to MSI and an opportunity to play C9 for the LCS title tomorrow. Golden Guardians have gone with some big team fight wombo combo here in this second one. They've got the support Jarvan pulling out that I don't think a lot of us were expecting.
No.
But over on FlyQuest side, you said it, Isaac. Prince is back on the Xayah, the #1 AD carry to not get dove. So Golden Guardians are going to have to be clean with this.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is very difficult to actually dive through Heimer as well. You drop the ulti turret. You know, you have the Taliyah E down that is going to mess with the dashes on a lot of these champions as well. So there is a lot of difficulty. That being said, if you can find that perfect engage, get in on multiple members here, be hitting the Heimer, the Taliyah, the Xayah all at once, you know, with things like that Kennen ultimate, with the Wukong ultimate, with the AoE from Lissandra. There's so many go buttons that it's possible Golden Guardians could just overwhelm FlyQuest and be able to get through all their tools.
Now, one thing that is different from game #1 here for Stixxay, you talked about his cleanse timing specifically, Isaac, and this time around there is no cleanse.
Oh.
He's looking at the enemy team, he's like, okay, I can sidestep Heimer CC, sidestep Xayah CC, sidestep Taliyah CC. He's planning on the outplay solution and going for the heal instead.
Yeah, you for sure don't need it. And we're seeing right now the bottom lane, why you're picking this support Jarvan here. Every time your AoE cooldown is up, you go for the flag on the Heimerdinger. You're trying to work your way through the sustain of Winsome.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, as long as you are patient with it, it's a very easy skill shot to hit. You know, skill shot almost like in quotation marks.
Right.
You just got to click on their head. It drops so quickly that's not really avoidable. It is Spell Thief's Ignite Airy. It's going to be Emax, you know, as expected here for Huhi. But Winsome and Prince get that push, and that is going to be one of those difficulties here for this lane. Unless they can find those all-in angles, you likely are going to be locked in under your own turret because of that Heimer.
Yeah, good little distancing there from Winsome. He walks out of range of flag, back in for the double rockets, hits the comet as well. So some nice stuff here. When Winsome is a really big conversation surrounding FlyQuest for the entire split, even though he wasn't playing the entire split, because they had that honeymoon success at the very beginning with him on the roster.
We'll have to see exactly how Licorice wants to build as well. I have seen some of these Conquer, Riftmaker, Kennen kind of builds when they go into tanks. I am really not a fan of it because I don't think it can dominate in the 1v1 enough, and you're way weaker in the 5v5. I'm much more of a fan of just Spellbook Kennen and playing, you know, more for the utility, more for the 5v5. It doesn't mean that he's not just going to go Rocket Belt with Conquer, though, and play for those fights. So we'll have to track this Kennen and see what he does.
I mean, we're talking about a champion that has a long history in competitive League of Legends. He's been meta in a lot of different years, a lot of different times throughout the game, and every single play that I can think of where Kennen broke the game, where Kennen won the game, it wasn't because he hit you 40 times with an auto attack and whittled you away. It was a big Chad play in the middle of a team fight, and that's usually the type of build I prefer to see as well. But we'll keep track of it as time moves forward. River clearing out this top side Scuttle Crab. You can see Spica doing the same thing here on the bottom side. Both junglers ticking level 4 around the same point, but River does have a 1 camp advantage up over Spica here during the early clear. They're both going to reset, so nobody finds a gank angle. You can see Vicla just kind of taunting Gori to interrupt his recall there in the mid lane, as both bottom laners going to take their first backs too, so everybody basing around the same time.
Yeah, and I love the vision invested from Spica on this Vi to really try and keep track of River harassing his bottom lane that had been pushing up the tower. Not only does he get the guard against River ward, where he jumps over the back of Dragon Wall a lot, but he also gets his secondary ward here up for the second spawn of Raptors.
Yep, going to be able to track that nicely. And back, also worth mentioning, you know, is playing Comet here, so was, you know, setting up more for this kind of range matchup where he's trying to hit these E's. If you hit the E, it guarantees the Comet onto Licorice, but Licorice, every time we pan up there, is able to actually sidestep those and is doing a very good job in this 1v1. Already up 11 CS. Of course, there are more to farm for Impact, but you want to keep this Sion locked under his tower, harassing him every single time you can on these minions, and trying to deny as much as possible.
And I always like the Comet versus a ranged champion that you're never going to get close enough to trade with Grasp anyway, right? It just gives you more of an opportunity to get value out of the rune early on when it matters most. And Impact now farming up underneath the turret. Yes, he's going to be down in farm compared to Kennen. It's just the way the game's got to work.
Yep. And for me, it's not even, you know, Grasp versus Comet. It's almost Spellbook versus Comet, right? You know, it is, do you want to just go full utility, have things like a barrier, heal, and exhaust, or whatever for that 5v5? This is more set up for that lane. And I think it makes a lot of sense. You know, if you can actually equalize more in that laning phase, you know you're going to outscale later.
Spica getting invaded now. Gori and River looking for the two-man move, and they force the flash out of the FlyQuest jungler early on, but now Prince is coming up to maybe cut them off.
He's got to be careful, though.
Yeah, Gori and River are very scary together because Gori has that ultimate. Level 6, the lockdown potential is huge. All right, nothing else comes up.
And that's why we saw Spica flash, because he knew if he waits and Gori flash ults him, he's just going to be dead. He's going to be locked down 100-0 in ulti to W. I wouldn't have a chance. So he had to early flash. But that is advantage to Golden Guardians, not having to spend anything.
Yeah, River here patrolling the bottom side, trying to keep both bottom lane and mid lane safe as well. No early Vi moves here from Spica. Now without the flash, you really do need that ultimate on Vi.
Oh, now Golden Guardians are going back in. This time they're looking for Vicla, who uses the seismic shove to try to create some distance. But he's turned into a popsicle all the same. First blood over to River.
And that actually Impact teleports into mid lane here, so that is going to be Kennen pushing for some turret plates up on top side, while FlyQuest used that teleport to bully down this dragon. And again, it will be FlyQuest focusing on the dragons, focusing on those objectives, but Golden Guardians getting the first blood and having a bigger early gold lead.
I mean, that's honestly about 2 kills worth of value because he took the plate top, they get the kill mid, and he denied about a wave and a half on top lane. So that is a lot of gold that is actually swung now into Golden Guardians' favor. And you can see as a result, 1.2k up here, only 7 minutes in. So back-to-back games having fantastic starts.
Plus a repeat play available for River. You've got Wukong almost about to get level 6 and having your flash available. He did not have to use flash in the last one. Lissandra ult is a very short cooldown, so you just go right back to it and get a kill.
Yep, and Gori even has his Ignite ready now. You know, he is actually playing Spellbook, has the flash, has the Ignite, is going for CDR boot, so he's looking for that engage, looking to set up these plays here. Vicla, on the other side, though, has actually spellbooked over to Cleanse, knowing that he is potentially available for that play. So, really trying to prepare himself for it.
Support battle here in the river, which consists of Winsome throwing down a couple of turrets, Huhi throwing a single flag at him and then walking away because there's not a whole lot more support. Jarvan's going to get done trying to fight a Heimerdinger. Now, when we look across the table, the big story in the farm here is the top lane. Licorice building a nice advantage up over the Sion of Impact. You can see the Hex Tech alternator in inventory, so that at least gives me some hope we're going to see some burst out of the Kennen.
It's probably going to be Proto Belt. You know, that is what I'm expecting at this point. And you can see Fiendish Codex here for Huhi. He has the stopwatch from his runes, so it almost guaranteed is going to be that old school Zhonya's rush that we used to see from the AP Jarvan. This allows you to really go in, set up those plays. Xayah, yeah, you can ult to actually immune the damage, but you can't ult over the Jarvan wall. So you're looking to lock these people in there and then have all the AoE layered over top with the Wukong, the Kennen, and the Lissandra flying in right when you ult them.
It's one of the things that's deceptive about Xayah because she doesn't actually go up in the air, but now the only one up in the air is Spica, and it's the Golden Guardians looking for him yet again. They take him down, they get out before Vicla can kill River in return, and it's Golden Guardians 2-0, 2,000 gold ahead.
There's the exact Lissandra plus Wukong ultimate we were looking for. They assassinate the enemy jungler. Spica had no flash. His ult down now too means FlyQuest have way less opportunities to set up for the Taliyah. You're always looking for the Vi ultimate into Taliyah seismic shove. So not only the Golden Guardians get a kill on the enemy jungler and allow themselves to start up this Rift Herald, but they also take away one of the biggest threats that FlyQuest have to make early moves.
Absolutely, and River and Gori have been doing it for Golden Guardians all split long. I think these were some of the more overlooked imports, some of the guys coming in the league who weren't as well known, but they performed so incredibly well, and now Golden Guardians, they already have 5 here.
Golden Guardians ready for a fight. The slicing Maelstrom's coming in, and they find their first kill on the enemy jungler. Impact's about to die second, and Gori takes him out. FlyQuest can't find their fight for the Rift Herald this time around, and Golden Guardians are looking good.
Honestly, what are they doing there? They just lost Spica's ultimate. They don't have their biggest combo ability at this stage of the game, and Golden Guardians just punish them for it, jumping immediately onto them. Huhi even jumps in and takes the kill with his support Jarvan here because he can. Golden Guardians, this lead is so much bigger than game number 1. This is a really emphatic turnaround from Golden Guardians to bounce back in game number 2 like this, but I don't know.
Look at the Kennen. I mean, you're just giving him a free flank by starting up the Herald. He's the one with prio on top side, so he's going to make this play down. Up comes Huhi. River is there as well, and Stixxay able to get involved. Golden Guardians was here so fast with all 5 members, and they are built to 5v5 and to 5v5 often.
Yeah, and I think the alternate play that we're recommending for FlyQuest is to keep them bottom side and push in and try and get some turret plates. Even if you only get 1 turret plate, it's better than losing a bunch of people at a fight that you have a big disadvantage on.
Well, unfortunately, the disadvantages for FlyQuest continue to grow. They're down 3,500 gold. There is 1 minute left before the second Drake of the game spawns. They do have that first one. That's about it. But look up in the top side. The gold difference of 1,500 between the Kennen and the Sion. Impact is not the raid boss that he was in game number 1.
And mid lane's even worse. That's 2K, between those two mid laners. So the solo lane's going massively in the favor of Golden Guardians. Really, it's the whole top side of the map. Wukong up 1K as well. Looking really, really good. We saw Impact, moving for this play, and what we didn't see in the replay was that he's losing all those waves afterwards because Licorice can go right back up to top, push that in. It has been that first play already taken by him as well. So Impact going to be in a much more difficult spot this game to try to have that value, to try to be this dissuading factor in these team fights.
And with Licorice being on a champion like Kennen, it's not the Fiora where you just have to play the edges and look for that one moment where you can maybe go in and find some autos. When you find that one moment, you explode the team fight. Or maybe River's moment is just going to be to take out this enemy carry. Bonk him right over the head. He goes up into the ulti. The feathers fly. River does not want to overcommit to this. He knows that if those feathers come back, they can rip through half his health bar. Instead, he's going to take the safer play. He falls back to Stixxay, who's already working on the turret. That's 1 plate down. That's 2 plates down. That's 3 plates down. Where's plate number 4? 1 more, probably accessible here for Golden Guardians before FlyQuest can do anything about it. Huhi and Stixxay need a couple more autos. 4 plates taken out off of that play. Golden Guardians 4,500 gold up.
And it's just beautiful from River there. Such a low commitment. He goes for the auto Q, chunks him out, forces the ulti, which means Prince can't actually ever walk up to the turret or he's just going to be food for the Wukong.
This is why we always call River the sneakiest jungler in the LCS. Into that brush, super high value, very low risk. So much for his team right there. They get the dragon. They will not let FlyQuest stack this time around. I mean, the improvements this game from game number 1 for Golden Guardians are already so apparent.
And it's going to be a much easier comp to play out in 5v5, right? Very clear win conditions, very clear way to actually play it out. Last game with the Elise, with the Fury, you're going to have to be a lot more creative in taking those 5v5s, looking for pick, looking for these kind of weird skirmishes. You can kind of just full send it in every single fight here. Dive on those carries, look for those plays, and I think we're going to see them, especially with this gold lead, show up to every single objective and try to create these difficult questions that FlyQuest has to answer.
And I mean, why wouldn't you? When you're up 4,500 gold, when the Drakes are even, when everybody is individually so far ahead of their counterparts, it just seems like it would be a mistake not to contest every single thing that you can. You can see items coming online. The Everfrost completed for Gori. So much lockdown on this Lissandra, especially if he uses the ulti offensively. This guy's locking you down for 4 or 5 seconds just himself.
And something worth noting on the other side is it is Crown of the Shattered Queen here, so this is to try to help Vicla survive. But it's very easy to actually poke that up with the Jarvan flag. That is super simple to do. So we'll see if Huhi's going to be able to actually manage that. They want to get that knocked off Vicla before the fight breaks out in earnest to make sure he doesn't have the damage reduction when they do go in.
Yeah, big targets on their backs for Vicla and Winsome. The Heimerdinger we already saw trying to get vision, kind of difficult for them. His flash is very, very important for not dying to that burst.
Gori throws out the claw there. Vicla not going to be spooked by that, but maybe he's going to be spooked by this. He's got no way out of the Cataclysm, and Gori gets a killing spree.
Vicla had spellbooked over to heal and cleanse. He didn't have access to his flash. They noticed that, and that's why they're willing to full commit on that play. Without flash, there's no getting out of the Jarvan ulti.
Nice spell shield, nice Shattered Crown, not gonna help you flash out of a Cataclysm. Huhi on the support Jarvan, coming in really big on another creative pick for the Golden Guardians.
Now, Licorice could be the target. Spica wants to come around here. They know that there's that control ward in the Tri-Brush, so Spica's not walking into it yet. They want this to be a surprise attack.
River's
now Spica is seen. Licorice on retreat. Slicing Maelstrom drop defensively. Licorice with the Proto Belt trying to get back away. Gori has arrived, but he's arrived too late. He jumps in, and now he's got backup. Now they're going to make it a 2-for-1. Now the Golden Guardians are mad as hell, and Winsome's about to pay the price. River's got a double kill, and now he jumps right back over the wall into Vicla to get away from Prince. Gori kills Vicla over the wall. Gold Golden Guardians just slammed him.
River's going crazy. That E back over the wall after he picks up the Heimer kill to escape from Prince, making him look silly in the top lane.
River and Gori just make them so dizzy here. Absolutely stomping FlyQuest into the ground. Now they can push top, they can push mid. They take away the enemy jungle as well. River immediately counter jungling afterwards. Huge turn for the Golden Guardians.
This Wukong is going to be so hard to deal with. He already had the mythic completed prior to that fight. And here it is one more time. Look at the UI on the bottom of your screen. It's heal and cleanse. He had double spellbooks, different summoners. So even though Flash was available, he had no access to it. He realized this is a mistake, and that's why he insta heals there, trying to get the Flash back up, trying to do something. But there's no shot you're surviving on that timer for it to come back up. And I just think that's such good situational awareness from the Golden Guardians, recognizing the mistake that Vicla had made before he did.
This is the beginning of what turns into a River and Gori highlight reel here. Gori flashes back towards the River to get the double root, setting up his ultimate, and then he chases through on Winsome as well. Second R into the chase down through. Sion zombie expires, and he's able to jump right back over to Vicla. And Gori, full range, right over the wall, another Q through.
And you can see what Vicla was going for. He sets up the seismic shove right at the wall, trying to throw the Lissandra over the wall where Prince could hit him with feathers. But no, it was Gori responding with a shot of his own, taking down his mid lane opponent.
And those Lissandra passives just exploding on him right before the Q, that gave him lethal damage right there.
It does a lot of damage as the game starts to progress. They're back up towards this top lane, looking for him. Spica's ulti again.
Defensive Maelstrom from Licorice, but it only affects impact. Now he's got to try to get away. Spica follows it up, and FlyQuest find their second kill of the game.
It's a good kill there. Rinse and repeat, back up to the top lane. They know he has no flash. They're willing to commit to that, but we'll have to see. Is it going to mean that they can actually get anything done on the bottom side, try to stop this dragon take here? Because Golden Guardians are in the area. They very clearly want to go for this. Herald's going to be dropped to the tier 2, so the tier 2 is just dead, and that is a lot of gold going over to GG.
Yeah.
We'll see if there's any contest at the dragon, though.
I don't think so. I think FlyQuest make a smart decision, though. They know there's no way they're going to mess around with this dragon. They're not going to get it. You will lose that fight. So they make the early choice. Yes, we are going to show Spica topside, but we're going to get the kill. We're going to get a better trade than was otherwise possible for us. So they get the kill. They get the topside tower in trade. Even despite that, though, it's still such an overwhelming, massive lead for Golden Guardians that they're feeling very confident.
And Gori just got a tier 2 tower, which is so much gold. He was already way ahead. He's got another 1,500 gold in pocket. It's 9,000 gold to 5,800 in the mid lane. That is just a ridiculous advantage. We're 18 minutes in. It's a 7,000 gold lead. Crazy stuff from Golden Guardians, who are really coming out swinging.
I mean, it's a full dive comp from Golden Guardians, and their divers are turbo fed. So it is going to be a successful dive. Vicla will have a very difficult time surviving in this game, as will Winsome.
And the Zeri is just a quiet insurance policy in this game for the Golden Guardians. Game number 1, you had 5 kills. 5 kills were on Zeri. All right, if Zeri screws up, we got a problem. This game, cool, he's farming, he's on pace, he's got one wave different compared to his lane opponent. Meanwhile, Lissandra and Wukong are just ripping the map in half.
And that's one of the tough things in a game like this, because when you're talking through this game, how you're going to win from the FlyQuest side, you're talking about the Wukong, you're talking about the Lissandra, you're talking about the Kennen, these big threats that you have to stop. And then you realize, how are we going to deal with the Zeri, guys? Because the Zeri is still farming 10 CS per minute, is still going to be on his second item here pretty soon. And Stixxay, if you ignore him, can still have a Zeri moment and pentakill you.
Yeah, never underestimate the Zeri moment potential.
I think the hardest part for him getting a pentakill is stealing the kills from River.
True. His teammates are too fed.
River does too much damage.
I mean, even Huhi at this point, the Jarvan dunk could easily deny one of those Zeri pentakill ingredients. He does have the Zhonya's completed, makes it so he can go in without just immediately dying right after. Licorice here, seeing Spica stepping up, trying to steal away the chickens from the Golden Guardians. Might try to throw out a Thundering Shuriken, isn't even going to bother. Gori's up in the top side. He takes out the tier 1 turret. That is 3 turrets now taken by the Golden Guardians. 7,000 gold lead, plus 1 Drake. 8 seconds till Baron spawns, and you got to believe that these guys have such an incredible lead so far. An early Baron's very much on the menu.
I do have to say, though, FlyQuest, for as far as they are behind, they're doing what is necessary to try and set themselves up for a possible comeback. Getting the bottom side turret there, Vicla's able to finish the outer one off at least, get them some of that global gold, get himself some extra local gold as well.
Yeah, really all you can do in these situations is just play cross-map, right? You can't actually contest them on these fights. If Gori goes top, you go bot, right? You're trying to play the other side. You're trying to be as scrappy as possible and keep it within reach. So if you can have that perfect team fight, it could potentially mean that comeback, but it's going to be very, very difficult for them. And River here potentially going to look.
Not going to jump all the way in on Prince. They didn't have enough vision of potential nearby allies. River does not just want to throw away a huge part of their tempo and their lead, diving onto a target that wasn't killable the entire time. But they will now use this opportunity to step up and try to find some vision in the enemy jungle. Huhi places down a couple of wards. The Heimerdinger turret inside the brush sees that one get placed, so they know to sweep it out as FlyQuest continues to dig in and defend.
I kind of feel like FlyQuest may just give up this third dragon and try to fight it 4, because when you're looking at the item completions right now, it is so difficult to actually feel that you could win a fight here. You know, almost everyone, their counterpart, has that additional completed item on them, which is just going to make things so tough for FlyQuest. So for me, it kind of feels like you just try to farm it out. You hope you can hit 2 items before your opponents hit 3. You potentially fight at that 4th dragon, and you kind of bet it all right there.
Yeah, they have to get Prince, at least the Essence Reaver, or at least to Quick Blade.
Yeah.
River's going to clear out the vision from the Baron pit. Impact up here on the top side, just again, shoving out whatever waves he can, not putting himself in a vulnerable position. Vicla doing the same thing on the other side of the map. 80 seconds until the Drake spawns. FlyQuest have now completed 3 big items on their mid laner. Gori has Shadow Flame, Everfrost, and Zhonya's, and Vicla still has the Crown of the Shattered Queen that he had 10 minutes ago.
It's
looking like a game for it, man.
Upgrade that book. Yeah, it definitely is, and this is good for the series here, for Golden Guardians to bounce back versus FlyQuest. They are the underdogs, but they have done such a good job, you know, gaining momentum throughout playoffs here, overperforming yet again.
And if they're able to close out this game, between this and the really strong start they had in Game 1, you know, they are looking like the team that is the much stronger early game team. FlyQuest is going to have to try to be able to stabilize to try to come back in this game, and you're going to have to be thinking about changing up pick bans potentially as well for the next series.
Oh, Stixxay gets seismic shove, but it's not enough to do a lot with. Now Impact's ready to follow up to make sure Golden Guardians don't get the immediate counterpunch. Gori flashes over the wall to stay alive as Huhi looks for another attempt at a re-engage. Nobody gets a whole lot of anything. There were summoner spells used from both sides here, but not much else. Impact continuing to try to lead. He's going to soak damage from Licorice as he approaches. FlyQuest still trying to follow Golden Guardians into the bottom side river.
There is no flash, no Zhonya's on Gori, which is pretty big because he has 3 items there. He's one of their strongest, another strongest member here. FlyQuest, though, they're going to push their way in, and they're going to bet their game on this fight because the quick blades are done on Prince.
Oh, but Huhi found the Cataclysm onto multiple targets. Only Impact is left inside. Gori goes in, and he sets it up for the follow-up as River knocks him down. Stixxay kills Winsome, and FlyQuest has already lost 2 men. They'll try to fall back and save anybody they can, but Golden Guardians, screw the Drake, man. It's a Baron call.
Yeah, they want the big worm over there. Golden Guardian's going to go right onto it. Spica still is alive and has smite. He could try and get into Fog of War, Blast Cone, Q over the wall, but Huhi's going to mark him.
Yeah.
Golden Guardians, the only thing they have to do is not let it be a 50-50.
Licorice still has flash ult. Like, if you try to steal this, you're going to get ulted 100% here. Licorice is going to look.
All right, this is the moment for Golden Guardians, as long as they don't throw here.
He's dead.
But Impact has killed Licorice. The Baron's at 1,600. Spica's into the pit. It's stolen by FlyQuest. Golden Guardians fumble at the 1-yard line, and the game just got more interesting.
No shot! You let him steal that. Impact just bullies his way in, kills off Licorice by himself. And Spica's able to get into the pit. The Baron was too low. They couldn't peel off and kill him in time.
Licorice just died with ult and flash up there. I can't believe it, but FlyQuest, they get the Baron still. They're going to get a lot of standing gold as well from these towers. And since Golden Guardians didn't pick up the dragon either, you even get the quick reset over there.
That saved the game for FlyQuest.
Yeah.
Being able to steal that away there. Impact going in, doesn't give a damn. Just walks up, takes Licorice out, Spica with the steal. If Golden Guardians pick up that Baron right there, I feel like the game's just done.
Absolutely. I mean, it's 1,500 gold just for killing the thing. That's 1,500 gold in your opponent's pockets instead of yours. That's a 3K swing alone. Plus, they took a turret off of that as well. So, you know, already, and FlyQuest getting a lot more than they were expecting there. I thought that was the death knells of game number 2 here. in the opening series of finals weekend, but it is going to be Golden Guardians at the very least grabbing this dragon, moving themselves to Soul Point. They are still in the driver's seat, but that is not what you want to have happen.
They're in the driver's seat, but the car ran off the road. Let's take another look at how the wheels fell off here.
All right, so Licorice, Impact just walks up to him. He tries to E with movement speed out of the queue, and then, yeah, dies without using everything. At this point, you see both River and Spica here. River's trying to kill Spica. Look how low he is. He gets the blast shield. He gets the blast shield from killing the Baron. He was at maybe 20 HP there. Spica barely stays alive. River was trying to kill him, couldn't finish him off, and Spica with his last breath smites away the Baron and breathes life back into FlyQuest hopes.
He couldn't have had more than 50 health there. I didn't even see like one tally for 100 health there, so that was ridiculously close. You know, getting that passive hit there, getting the shield back up allows him to stay alive and smite that Baron away. And now FlyQuest trying to set up shop here in their opponent's jungle. They're still 7K down. They're still facing down a Soul Point here, which would be an Ocean Soul and make their life very difficult.
The biggest difference here is look at the fact that FlyQuest is past the river. For so long in this game, FlyQuest has had to ask Golden Guardians permission. Am I allowed to farm that? Nope. Okay, cool. I'll hang out back here. Now, FlyQuest have a little bit more invigoration as they're looking to place down these wards, looking for some plays, looking for some surprises that may be able to bring them back into this game.
Yeah, they told Spica, no, you can't have the Baron, and he said, I don't care.
That being said, Golden Guardians still taking a lot away. You look at the final Baron power play there, it's plus 400 right now for Fly. So Golden Guardians is still getting actually more on the map after the Baron was taken. You know, reducing that from its initial 1,500 down about 1K afterwards. Spica, though, looking for a potential engage here on the side. He is going to have to be forced back, I think.
There, they found River, but I don't think that's a target you're going to win a team fight off of. Not when Golden Guardians is this far ahead. River just beats him in the mouth, and Stixxay surfs over the wall. A double kill back to the Zeri. I don't know what the hell FlyQuest was thinking there, but Golden Guardians smacked some sense into him.
Impact's coming in to try and pull the wave here because he doesn't want to allow them to push so quickly. Can he get the last cannon? He got the cannon.
Yeah, he's going to give his life there to try to prevent them from taking multiple towers, because that likely would have been the tier 2 mid and probably the inhibitor tower, if not the inhibitor. So even though it looks like a silly death, it is actually a good death, I would say, from Impact there to cut the wave. You're laughing.
Good death sign.
That was an unironic good death.
I know, but it's still funny.
Yeah.
Man, that was not the engage FlyQuest one. Let's take another look here.
No.
Spica's on the flank, and you engage on Wukong?
I mean, I think his idea here is that there's both sums, you know, on Stixxay. You're not going to get to him. You're not going to be able to go on Gori. Maybe you can burst someone down here. They think they have the extra man because I think Huhi hadn't shown yet. But they're not going to be even close to bursting down River.
Yeah, he even insta-ulted, so he didn't even wait and get his Q damage on the Wukong first and then going for the ult. So they just use everything so quickly without the follow-ups. No chance there. Golden Guardians stomped them over the head with their wallets.
Got the cannon, worked.
It worked out
90.
For the cannon, for the wave cut at least, but everything else, man, it's right back to falling apart for FlyQuest. As soon as that Baron faded, it has not been good. And now Golden Guardians have 90 seconds until what will be the Ocean Soul for them spawns. They're already fighting over this bot side river. FlyQuest does not want to allow them in. Huhi and the rest of Golden Guardians backing up, staying together.
Oh,
Spica has been caught out. He tries to ulti to get himself out of position, has to flash there too. That's a couple of massive tools no longer available for FlyQuest, who now have to completely retreat from the area.
I mean, it is tough. You're playing Vi in a game like this. You can only go one direction. The reason he is down there, he's not being greedy for camps. He's trying to set up early so that they can look for a potential flank, you know, to try to find some sort of a miracle team fight. But he gets kind of smelled out there by Golden Guardians. They see him trying to get out of this dangerous spot, and they're going to be able to punish big time. And now, as you said, no flash on him, no ult on him. Sion spends the ult defensively. Winsome spends the ult defensively. So does Vicla. There's really no tools to try to fight this dragon.
Yeah, the reason it keeps looking like this for FlyQuest is because they know they can't even fight an actual team fight. They just have to fight 4 people versus 1 and try and kill them quickly before the rest of the Golden Guardians show up. And so they're trying to weave their way through Fog of War into some angle where they can jump on a single separated person. But have not been able to find it.
And as the luxury items come through, it gets so difficult. There's already Zhonya's on your mid laner. GA is almost done for River. He has a stopwatch. There's a stopwatch, and GA is being built up for Stixxay as well. There's a Zhonya's on Huhi. So 4 of the 5 can go into stasis, and there's likely going to be Zhonya's next on Licorice as well.
I mean, you could, if you upgrade that ring to a Medjai's, literally have a full build Lissandra right now.
You're really on this Medjai's, man. I respect
This is the game to do it. It's 10 stacks already. They're massive area ahead.
All right. FlyQuest going for the Baron. They're saying this is the YOLO play. This is how we might be able to do it. There's a lot of feathers in the back of the pit there. It's going to go over to FlyQuest. They take the objective bounty, but what will be the cost? Gori is zoned away. Impact's trying to get over to the wall. He wants to flash to the safety of his team, but he won't make it. Impact is traded for the Baron.
That is great for FlyQuest. They weren't really going to be able to fight that dragon anyway. They get an objective bounty, I believe, and the Baron there off the map. They rush it down so fast. Golden Guardians was so focused on securing the soul here that they weren't really ready to actually contest at the Baron.
Yeah, it is a big chunk of gold, but Golden Guardians still going to be able to get soul for themselves. Another possible pick. Huhi down. That's more gold for FlyQuest.
But Golden Guardians will claim the Ocean Soul finally. Honestly, if you're FlyQuest, you're probably okay with that because one of the only ways you could win a fight in this game is to get the Elder. Stixxay jumped on by Spica, but he's not afraid. Stixxay's actually ready to turn this one back around. Did they forget what champion he's playing? Zeri's a cheat code. AABB, up, down, left, right. Get the hell out of here. Stixxay just turned it on him.
1v2, and he loves those odds. Stixxay turns it around, knocks them both down. Oh my God.
He's also legendary. 8-0 kills here for Stixxay. Quite rich.
Licorice now has to try to outplay a 2v1. He's got help coming. Remember, this is the only guy on the team that does not have a stasis. Licorice tries to get enough time. He will be shut down, but now River and Gori are ready to clean up the pieces. Vicla needs a little bit more damage to bring him down. River's going to provide that as Impact walks away and turrets continue to melt back in the mid lane.
Impact is surrounded, but he's only got Huhi right next to him.
I think if Huhi hit Impact for 2 minutes straight, he might kill him.
That's why he just wants to put him in the Cataclysm.
I don't know, actually, looking at this, I think his health is going up.
It actually just might. Impact just going to waste as much of these guys' time as he can. It's hard for old Sion to get away from this. Maybe if there's an ulti angle, but you can see they're all trying to stay at every possible exit route for him, so he isn't able to escape with that. They will finally get the kill. Unfortunately for Golden Guardians, there are no big neutral objectives to take with the numbers advantage.
Yeah, I think right now, after next purchase, you get double Guardian Angels for Golden Guardians, Wukong plus Zeri, and then you just run it straight into those inhibitors. Take away FlyQuest base to even work off of. Don't give time for Elder Dragon even to come up.
Yeah, they knew that Spica had no ult, right? This was after that previous play he had actually just made. So Stixxay says, all right, you want to walk up to me? I'm just going to take this fight. There's no threat at actually bursting him down. Even if Spica did have ult, they wouldn't have the damage.
Yeah, and they immediately made the call. If you are looking at the mini-map, as soon as the Q in happens for Vi, it is a teleport for Gori into the mid lane to cut them off.
I mean, you see Vi use the Q, you know her ult's down, you see the Donger throw out the grenade. Okay, there's anything that could have stopped you. Immediate double kill money for Zeri.
This brings up another reoccurring theme with Golden Guardians too, how confidence has been something that has been so important for this team and that they feed off of. So to get such a big win here, and you see the smile on Huhi's face this really means big things for them for this series.
Yes! Yeah, there we go. Purchased. Kobe got his book. And now Golden Guardians are seeing if they can break through this inhibitor turret line. The big problem for Golden Guardians here in game number 2, the one sore spot in an otherwise very commanding victory, has been the Baron pit. One Baron got stolen, the other was sneaked away. That means that they have not ever had the power to siege this base yet. They haven't had that ability to break through the inhibitor line that Baron's normally required for. So I feel like here in these next 2 minutes, that Baron is the priority for Golden Guardians.
Yeah, absolutely. And because of the timings on these spawns, you can actually grab the Baron, use that to take the Elder. That is 40 seconds after. So I think we are going to see Golden Guardians look to just try to take both of those neutral buffs and then look to close out the game. But Winsome, you are dead, son.
Winsome is flashed on and deleted before the rest of the fight can even start. Prince has to fall away to the left side as Licorice tanks everybody on the right side of the fight. Now they're going to focus Spica, who jumps over the wall to stay alive. River and Licorice ready to continue fighting as Prince looks for damage and Licorice looks for his doom. Now you've got an escape attempt from Impact, who wants to drift all the way into the mid lane, but Gori is ready to lock him down. He'll die in an icy grave, and Stixxay goes legendary. 3 down on the side of FlyQuest, and Golden Guardians are loving it. They're gonna find the enemy jungler too. The Scryer's Bloom locates Spica. Gori comes down to collect the money. Golden Guardians get 4 for nothing.
They need to just get on these minion waves now and take down the inhibitors, but they're playing around with their food. The deadliest game of hide and go seek here is again won by the Golden Guardians.
It is 28-5. Just look at the scorelines from River, Gori, and Stixxay. The 3 big carries now for the team, all deathless here, all monstrously fed, so far ahead of their counterparts on the other side. It's even a death cap completed on top of the Magi's now. He's swapping out items.
Yep, Shadow Flame sold, Rabadon's purchased, Magi's Soul Stealer up to 20 out of 25 stacks, Guardian Angels ready to proc for both Zeri and Wukong on the side of the Golden Guardians. Man, FlyQuest needs these guys as monitors to just turn off. That's about the only win con here.
Yeah, some people think of Lissandra as a utility champion, a setup champion, but Gori's got 680 AP now, so that is a kill shot.
45 seconds on Elder, under 10 seconds on the Baron. Golden Guardians controlling the enemy jungle, placing down vision, placing down these wards, sweeping away anything FlyQuest has. They want to make the FlyQuest approach slow and unsafe because they can burn the Baron pretty quickly. As long as Spica doesn't pull off another miracle, no water into wine here. Golden Guardians are just leaving Stixxay and River to duo down the Baron. And then now they know that the Drake is spawning. This is probably where FlyQuest tries to go for their fight.
Look at Licorice's positioning though. He's actually snuck around and they're gonna have TP coming in here from Gori. So they're gonna be coming from all angles here. Prince and Winsome, they are caught out. They just don't know it yet.
Gori throws out a claw, doesn't take it. Winsome and Prince getting enough distance for the time being. Spica is the one man who might be able to secure an Elder Drake and maybe find a fight. Gori gets chunked a little bit there by Vicla, but not enough to write home about. River disengaging from the decimating smashes. Huhi goes over the wall. Cataclysm 1-2. Prince and Winsome are caught. Prince using the ulti here to dive away, but he's going to be killed immediately now with Stixxay going legendary. FlyQuest is down. They're gone. The whole damn team is gone. And Golden Guardians get a 5-for-1.
Golden Guardians bounce back in game number 2, and they will take a triumphant run into FlyQuest base.
They don't need the Elder. It was just a reason to fight. They've got the wave here in the bottom lane. They've got the Baron, and they've got an undefended Nexus for the next 30 seconds. Golden Guardians had a good early game in game 1, but it fell apart. Here in game 2, they seemed like a well-oiled machine, and they'll defeat FlyQuest 33-6 to tie this series.
What a bounce back game there. Golden Guardians not shaking it at all by their first loss here on stage. They march right back into it and they destroy FlyQuest in game number 2 with a very different kind of team comp here. It is great to see.
I love the confidence that